In a devastated mission on the Aurora, we have crashed into planet 4546b on a mission to go and explore further lands. We have crashed into an unknown planet where we have to defend ourselves from enemies, scour through caves looking for materials and minerals to help upgrade our base, as well as also looking for different kinds of shipwrecks that are going to have blueprints for us to upgrade said base. But of course, in this series, there's only one rule: do not die or it's all over. Welcome everybody to a new series in Subnautica. Alright, first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is go around and get materials. I'm going to need titanium, copper, and quartz to get our basic materials out of the way. This is going to be our hardcore series where we are going to be going from the very start to the very end to the lava caves. The biggest thing in the series is I cannot die, so I'm going to be a little extra cautious, focusing a little more on base building, a lot more on my oxygen management, making sure that I have everything I need to survive, because one fatal mistake will ruin hours and hours of work. I went ahead and ran around, got some acid mushrooms. I'm going to hopefully start making some tools pretty soon. Copper will be very useful for those outcrops, but here's where I'm reminded of my very first death of the series already. Lack of oxygen. Like I said, that world is gone. Alright, now we're in for number 2. I did the same thing as last time. I went around and got some more copper, some more titanium, and some more quartz. My goal is to make some tools first of all, so I can start scanning some blueprints, because we're going to need as much as we can to survive. These limestone outcrops are going to have both titanium and copper. There's a 50-50 chance of it, so you want to get as much as you can early on, because you're going to be using a whole lot of this early on. So whatever you see, go ahead and grab it. Since you're close to your base, just go ahead and keep running back and forth. This is a lot of Subnautica when it comes to exploring new caves, new depths, because now we don't have any monsters to deal with. Now it's just the ocean. So we're going to keep doing this, keep going around, and we're going to make our first tools. This is my life pod. This is where I'm going to spend most of my early game doing all my upgrades, getting my first tools, make sure I got power, a safe place to be, because I don't want to be out there at night with all the scary monsters. So we're going to go craft some batteries, go ahead and get some glass going so we can make our first tools, which are going to be the scanner to help us scan blueprints, and then the flashlight for us to see better, because it's going to get dark real fast. And I did not want to be stuck in the ocean when I can't see anything, because you never know what's in the ocean. With our newfound tools, we're going to start exploring the ocean. I'm looking for a couple of things, but I think just for here, we're going to start looking for these creepvine sea clusters. This is what we're going to be using for a lot of different things like lubricant, silicone rubber, just so we can start getting better tools. In this case, we're going to be using it to go ahead and make ourselves an awesome knife, because we're going to need protection against these monsters. I don't know what's in the waters here, but I don't want to go there without protection. And this is also the only weapon, as far as I know, that Aurora will ever allow us to have on our ship ever again. And also go ahead and make some fins so we can go a little faster. Now we're going to be back into the creepvine swamp. What we're looking for is a couple materials. We're looking for salt for water in the future, as well as silver, gold, and lead. We find those from doing outcrops. There's also going to be really nifty little blueprints for the mobile vehicle bay, which we're going to need I think 3 of these in order for us to make our first sea moth. So you got some gold there, which is useful, but I'm looking for silver mostly. But these things are going to be everywhere, not just in this area. A big warning that you're going to see is once you pass 100 meters or 200 meters, your oxygen levels go down way faster than normal. So make sure you can get a rebreather if possible. I'll be getting one pretty soon. My next outcrop that I broke gave us silver. If I can get one more, I can get us a better O2 tank. And now this will be our second one here. But this cave just got full of outcrops, so I want to go ahead and gather all these materials, because we're going to need them for sure later. Alright, back at our base, we're going to go ahead and start working on that upgraded O2 tank. So now I can hold up to 135 seconds of oxygen, given that I'm above 100 meters or wearing a rebreather. So this will help us last a lot longer underwater. Now we're back in the caves. Now we're looking for a couple of things. One of them being this crash fish up here. It's gonna come out of its hidey hole, but what it'll leave behind after it explodes is gonna be cave sulfur that we're gonna need for the repair tool. Let's go and pick that up and get back to our base. We have a ton of stuff we gotta do today. Alright, back at our base, we're looking to make a computer chip, and for this we're gonna need a lot of different things. A couple of things we're gonna need is one, these table coral samples. I already have gold, thankfully, from from the outcrops in the creepvine forest. Going to get that made. And now we're going to make ourselves a builder's tool. This will allow us to construct buildings for us to have a possible air supply, storage, which is the most important part of the base, and 2, just to have a safe spot. I will end up making a lot of these as we go down, because we're going to be reaching down into like the nickel caves, the lava zone, and it's all very dangerous places, so you want to make sure that you have a safe spot to go to in case you need emergency oxygen. And as you can see here, I don't have oxygen yet, but whenever I put a solar panel down, I should have plenty of oxygen to live down here and everywhere else. Another very important part about adventuring under the sea is looking for these fragments. You're going to see fragments for all kinds of tools, weapons, items, upgrades for you to use, but you need to be able to collect a certain number of that one fragment. So like the grav trap, the beacon, does require 2. Another very important thing we got here is a Seaglide fragment. If I can get 2, I can build a portable propeller for me in the water. This is the red grass biome. This is where I get a lot of my materials from. It's relatively safe except for the sand sharks you'll see, but this is where you're going to find a lot of very helpful blueprints, shipwrecks, and just overall items you're going to need, because you're going to need a lot in order to survive. So here I'm looking for a couple of supplies. I did get a scanner room fragment in the last shipwreck, including right here as well. And this is where we're going to find our very first sea moth fragment. If I can get 3 of these fragments, I can go ahead and make a sea moth with the mobile vehicle bay I had already made a few minutes ago. But this will let me bring portable oxygen, of course as long as I'm within the range before it starts to destroy itself. But that way I can travel across way faster than now. Here's our second part of the sea moth. Just need 1 more to go. Alright, and our last Seaglide fragment. So now we can go ahead and go back to our base and start working on making a Seaglide, which can make us much faster in the water. Not just for exploration, but if I need to get out quickly to get air, this is a great way to do so. Because this thing moves fast. This is roughly like a 10 or 11 meters per second, way faster than hand swimming for sure. And also gives you a little bit of light. Also, if you like a map, they do have a built-in map for you as well. Even though there is a light on the Seaglide, I would still highly recommend that you use your flashlight for navigating tunnels, or if you're trying to find specific items, because it's really hard to navigate with a Seaglide going so fast or picking up certain items. But if you need to escape, this is the best way to do it as of right now. Another big thing that I'm going to be worried about are those jellyfish, aka the jelly shrimp, I think is what they're called. But they're going to poison you if you touch them, and will almost definitely mean that I'm going to die. And once again, if I die, the whole series is over. So you're going to see these quite a few times, and every time I'm going to be super terrified of them. So I just need to avoid them. So far, I made a lot of tools. I made a really handy dandy little Seaglide here. Now I am going to be focusing more on exploration, making sure that I can find as many blueprints as possible, making sure that I don't drown because I was a little close there. But hopefully I can find a shipwreck pretty soon. And it looks like I did before I left. This is going to have a data box with a compass, which just lets you know where you are. But the best find in this whole place is going to be this chair that I found. It's a swivel chair. And I'm hoping that it does what it says it does. So I'm going to go ahead and build it whenever I get my base. And hopefully it actually turns. That'd be kind of cool to have in my base. Lastly, now we're going back to our base. We're going to go and deposit everything we can. Turn everything into its raw material, and we're going to start working a little bit more on our base and making sure that we can be able to explore a little further. So in this case, I am currently working on turning everything into titanium ingots, some more silicon rubber, lubricant, all that good stuff, so that we can have extra for later, because we're going to be using everything we just made so we can make a mobile vehicle bay. We're going to explore this a little bit more next episode, but this is how we're going to make our sea moth. In the meantime, I'm going to add some storage. I'm going to go ahead and make our base just a little bit homier, and we are going to start up our next episode, hopefully with some solar power and more materials, as I'm going to go do that in between episodes. So thank y'all for being here for our very first episode of our hardcore Subnautica series, and I will see you guys in episode 2